Hello, Reds from around the world. Welcome to Off United. I'm your host, Joe O'Neill. We are here to preview the upcoming game, Manchester United versus the Scum. Are we allowed? Will we call them the Scum? I think it's a fair enough reference to them, but I'd like to keep Liverpool as the Scum. But I suppose they could be Scouser Scum. So we put Leeds down as Scum. Is that fair enough across the board? Stu, you're the most. You were at reproduction age when Leeds were last in the Premier League. So
Vermin.
Okay, yeah, Vermin. The Vermin from Yorkshire, that works for me. And I find it weird that we're calling them that, Jew, and you come out with that and you're wearing a Leeds jersey. But hey, that's you made the choice. That's fair enough. I've no problem with it. James is wearing a Gramino jersey. Yes. That's also fine. That is not as fine. Is he frozen with shock or is he just frozen?
I think he's frozen.
I think he's frozen with shock. I think he can't believe I knew that jersey off the bat. Evening, chaps. Fred, it's great to have you in. I'm glad you're the only Woodward left associated with Man United. But we are here discussing the that James again. There's James. James is back now. Hello, welcome back, James. We've got two James.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick one.
Wow.
And there we go. Garrett in the comments. Hey dudes, looking sharp. Thank you very much, Garrett, for lying to us. But we appreciate it. A good lie is always appreciated. But as we said, we are playing the Vermin on. What day is actually we were playing? Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
It's Sunday. I figured it would be Sunday. So it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, we hammered them 6-2 at Old Trafford back in December when we really needed to get a good win against them, and we really showed up and played trumps. But I'm going. Sorry, Fred's coming. I'm going to have my real name soon. What? That's not your real name. You mean you chose Fred Woodward? Or maybe your first name is the fake one. But yeah, so we're going to go round the table as per usual. And what we're saying about Leeds, of course, first of all, off the bat, they have, I think, a good record against all the top six. Obviously, recently enough, they beat City with 10 men. They drew against Liverpool. Well, Liverpool aren't top six, apparently. Yeah. Well, no, they aren't. Are they top six? No, they are the fifth, I think. But drawing against Liverpool, I can't remember any games I've had, but they tend to always play well against them because they like to hit teams on the counter-attack and teams that attack them. So, yeah, Abdul, we know you're there. I'm going to leave you there for another 5 minutes because I like when people arrive on time. Okay? Fashionably late works, except when it's fashionably all the time late. So you're sitting out there for 5 minutes and you're going to have a little bit of time out to think about how sorry you are. And you're going to come in. The first thing, you're not going to have any tactical analysis. It's going to be sorry to us and sorry to the viewers. Okay? But Hannah, coming to you first, my man. What are you expecting from Leeds on Sunday?
Well, like you said, they have some good runs against the top six, and I know we did beat them 6-2. But if we're going to be honest, and I sometimes like to say, as much as I am a United fan and very confident with United, I think there's also a respect, especially when you're playing other pros and, well, to be fair, Premier League pros. So I think they're going to have a little chip on their shoulder, on top, not just the rivalry that's, been there for a long time, but the fact that we beat them 6-2. So they're going to come out how they always come out, and I'm going to expect them to try to get some type of legitimate result because of the 6-2 that we gave them. So they'll be playing hard, but again, that's a favor when teams try to do that because we could play football and play on the counter. So I'll expect a hard effort from them, but I'm respecting them, but I'm not too worried.
Okay, that's super confidence. And now we're going to go to diehard Leeds fan, apparently, in Stu and getting his opinions.
Yes, there it is. No, it's just a white T-shirt. That's all.
Sure. It was a curious time to pick it, I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, I've long been back from the gym, and this was my T-shirt from the gym, so okay. I couldn't be bothered to change. That's all it was.
Excuses? Okay, excuses. That's fine. We'll go for it.
Oh, no, it's not a bad one, though, is it? Well made. The game, do you know something? Over the past, I think really since the start of March, Leeds have completely gone introvert in the way that they're playing football. It's quite a surprise. Bielsa's been known for his attacking, flamboyant, swashbuckling style. And when you consider the game that we beat them 6-2, they didn't give up. But since the beginning of March, I don't think they've conceded more than 2. But they're not scoring either more than 1 or more than 2. So it's going to be quite an interesting game. I think Bielsa might sit back a little bit, or sitting back at all is unusual for Leeds, but I think he might sit back a little bit. And I think Hammer's right. I think there will be respect between both coaches and both sets of players. But it's a game we can't afford to lose. If we've got any aspirations that City might just slip up, it's a game we can't afford to lose. So I'm hoping that Ollie picks a strong side. I'm hoping he doesn't go with the McFred partnership. I'd like him to start with just Fred or a holding player. And Rashford, hopefully, he's had another week's rest. Cavani, hopefully, will start. Greenwood will start. So I'm looking at us to be a bit more expansive this time. I know we're away, but I just fear that if he does go in with Fred, it's going to stifle our performance. It's going to stifle our flow, which it normally does. And if we see Bruno getting upset and disinterested, it takes him a long time to actually work his way into the game. But I think you're going to see a completely different game. I think it's going to be a 2-1 victory to us.
Cool. And guys, there's lots of people watching, so if you wouldn't mind, get in the comments of course, please, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, share the video around, and because we're talking about this, and we're going to be talking about the incident that happened today as well, in not a very long time, because, you know, it's been a crazy week for football, and thank you so much for joining us. So get your thoughts in the comments, share the video, give the video a like, please, and subscribe to the channel. James, coming to you now. What are your hopes and fears for playing Leeds on Sunday?
I hope we can break them down, because recently they've not been too bad defensively, have they? You know, keeping Liverpool to one goal, keeping City to one goal. You know, they're not keeping many clean sheets, but they're not conceding many either. So my hope is that they're not too defensively sound for us, because we're not exactly the creative masterminds in the league, are we? Especially recently. But yeah, hopefully defensively we seem to have settled down. So hopefully we've got enough to keep them out. I don't think they're looking as formidable in front of goal. Like Stuart said, it's definitely not going to be another sort of 6-2. But you know, I'm hoping for a proper game as well, a proper Leeds versus United game, not people walking around hugging at full time and stuff like that. I want a proper rivalry game, but I don't think we'll get that either. But yeah, just a competent performance is all I'm asking for. We've had a week's rest, and hopefully we make the most of it, because you know we play most games on 50% capacity because of the schedules. Hopefully, with a proper rest, we can put in a really good performance.
Yeah, hopefully. Super pessimism going around. And comment here, Leeds are undefeated at home this season and current third in form table over the last 5 games. That is interesting. That will be tough, actually. I didn't realise they're undefeated at home. But we're undefeated away, which means it's going to be a 0-0 draw. So, Andrew, coming to you. What are your thoughts?
I say Leeds, they've won many plaudits from the neutrals this season for their attacking, possession-based style of football, and they're enjoying the fourth highest share of the ball in the Premier League. I mean, say they're not always competitive, but Leeds have a unique style of play that has proved to be effective. I mean, they have a tenacious style of play, which requires a lot of physical output, and their attacking play at times have been like incredible to watch. I mean, it's their first season back in the Premier League, and Leeds have shown everyone they're here to stay, and it's just whether they can kick on like next season and not face like some of the problems that Sheffield United have and going down now. But I mean, let's say they're in form as well. They've won the last 5 games like we have in a row, but we have our unbeaten away record, so we're 23 games unbeaten. So something's going to have to give in this game. Also, so we're also chasing a couple of records as well with our in terms of our away games. I mean, we're just I think 5 away from beating Arsenal's all-time record of 27 away without being defeated in away games. And also, if we complete the whole season, the league season, we could join the likes of Arsenal and Preston North End as the only clubs to go the whole campaign without a defeat on the road. So it's going to be an open game. We'd like to see United play the way they did in the reverse fixture, just break the Leeds United defence down and just try and score lots of goals like they did last time.
Yeah, hopefully. Jeff, for yourself, what do you think? What do you expect and what do you hope?
Well, it's not going to be as open as the last game that we had, 6-2. Though they have a lot of suspensions and injuries, I heard. Rafinha's out, Rodrigo's out. I think Bamford's out too. But then again, even if they were out,
they held their own against the City, Liverpool. So I think we're gonna try to establish our game first and foremost. But then again, you don't know with Bielsa. He's like you know his style of play. You know what they're gonna expect, but he's had some crazy formations before. Um, like if he can go with three at the back, if he wanted to, they're pretty like what we were when Solskjaer was an interim manager. Three at the back for some games, but not during the big games. But yeah, he's very capable of just twisting it up and changing it up a little. So I hope we get to establish our game in the beginning. And with City just nicking Villa yesterday, I hope we get to just get those 3 points and just keep the pressure up. And you'll never know. 21-21, baby.
You said that with absolutely no conviction. And guys, I want you
just
to
too
welcome...
early in the morning, man.
Yeah, not for us. I want you to welcome with boos in. You can all unmute yourself. Everyone unmute yourselves. Okay. I want to hear a collection of boos when I bring Abdel on, and I want to get boos in the comments as well for Abdel for being late. And Abdel's going to apologize, and then we'll allow him in. Okay. Okay, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Start booing.
Yeah, that was abysmal.
That was good, though. It was appreciated. It was appreciated.
Nah, I'm sorry. I apologize. But I improved. It was 1 minute late. Before it was like 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, no. Okay, that's not really an apology. I feel like I should put you back into the bowl corner. But since we're running out of time, I'll let you on. And thank you very much, Garrett, for getting in on the fun. Boo. And and Chris, we don't need this negativity. City have won the title. No chance of catching them. City have won nothing yet. Nothing. And lol, thanks, Ugly Bear. So, Abdel, you got to listen. What are your thoughts on what we should expect from Leeds?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tougher game. The game we played and we won them 6-2. They were surprised by something that Ollie did, which caught them off surprise, and I don't think it's gonna be a repeat of what happened. So we used their man marking system against them, and they basically were shocked with the movements that Fred and Scott McTominay had all game. So yeah, it's gonna be a different game. You can't use the same tactic against them twice. It's gonna be very obvious. So it's gonna be tough. They're becoming very more resolute defensively because their 2-8s are not as free as they used to be. So Dallas and whoever plays next to him, I don't know. They have a lot of injuries, so that person that plays beside Dallas in the 8 keeps changing. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game. That's for sure. It's not gonna be as straightforward as it was before, because before you used something they do every match against them, and they were shocked at how you used it. And I guess it's an advantage that Ollie has, in the sense that he sees what the teams they play up against him use and try to come up with something that he can use against them. If they play against a Liverpool or a City or whoever, or a Chelsea, they play the way they play and they don't change it. They don't consider the opposition. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough game, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And that was a very good comment. Now we all forgive you for having good points as well. Okay. Garrett, there always a chance. Chris, but a ridiculously unrealistic. Yeah, look, we'll take that. We'll take on ridiculously unrealistic. But of course, we're going up against Bielsa. Ollie still hasn't gained the respect, even though his record against the seemingly best coaches in the world is very good. He's lost a few, but he's won a good few. Like Guardiola, he has his number completely. I think he's lost once, maybe twice. Once in the he hasn't lost in the league. I could be wrong, but he's lost twice in the League Cup, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Am I right?
He lost once in the league against Guardiola.
What was the score in that one?
2-0 in April 2019.
Okay, well that's a whole decade ago, so that doesn't even count. Yeah. Let's be real. But obviously against Bielsa, people see Bielsa as like the second coming, even though the man's very dead himself. But are you concerned, Hama, coming to you, that he might have a couple of tactical surprises? Because he is playing great football, he is beating teams, but also he's losing a lot of games as well.
I mean, tactical surprises in what sense? Like, so, you know, I think he understands what happened last game, right? Because if he is as much of a coach as everybody says, he has some type of ability to really do what he's doing. And people have seen that he has a very distinct style that he likes to play, right? Is that the right word to use that? Let's just say it is. But yeah. No, but I think he's gonna have something up his sleeve because he's obviously not gonna want the 6-2 to happen again. And like you guys said, right, they've been more strict on defense, so that wasn't gonna happen anyways, even if they weren't strict on defense. So I think he's gonna have something up his sleeve just in case things get out of hand, or just in case he wants to see if he can catch the guys sleeping or always sleeping. Yeah, he might have something, but again, I don't know if I'm maybe overly confident. I just think, you know, even though there are some people out, there's certain people that are healthy and have been playing to how the levels that we would like them to be playing at. So I think even if they have something up their sleeve, we have enough talent to get a job done. And by get a job done, I mean win. I don't mean draw.
Yeah, we all hope that's what you meant. But thanks for clarifying that, because that shows where we are in the world, let's be honest. Stu, you've obviously seen a lot of managers come through the Premier League. Like throughout the entire Premier League history. Bielsa's coming in with a huge reputation. He's having a fantastic first season, to be fair. Well, also to be fair, Sheffield United did better last season, are going to do better as well. But we'll still say he's having a very good season for someone to get promoted. What are your thoughts about him as a manager? Do you think he's overrated? Do you think he's rated just about par? Or even that he might be even underrated?
Do you know, I actually think he's underrated.
Really?
I think he's a better manager than a lot of fans would give him credit for. And I think Abdel's right. He was a little bit surprised by what Ollie did by reversing his man marking system when we last played them, and it did give him a bit of a shock. But what I was impressed with was their attitudes and their aptitude for the full 90 minutes. And a lot of teams, Southampton, for example, when we beat them 9-0 a few weeks ago, they offered a similar, attitude and aptitude. They still, were trying the very, very best to play football. And I think what you get with the Bielsa side is an exceptionally hard-working team of talented professional footballers. And he demands the very, very best week in and week out that player can deliver. Because if you don't deliver, you don't play. And I do like that mentality. I think, would he survive at a bigger club? I'm not so sure. I'm not saying Leeds is his level, because I don't think at this point in time you could actually distinguish what type of level Leeds are at. But I think if he had a chance at maybe a Tottenham or maybe a Arsenal, I think you would see an improvement. But I don't think he's quite at that level to get them over the line.
Yeah.
But having said that, you need a squad of players that buys into you as a manager, but you also need a squad of players that has that talent. And he's never really had a squad of players that you would call super talented in all of his managerial career.
Okay.
So it's a tough question.
You're welcome. I bring the tough questions.
Yes.
Stuart here. Bielsa's underrated for me. Would love to see him at one of the very big clubs, though. I know that's not his style. Really isn't his style, because he's never... This Leeds, you could arguably say, are the biggest club he's ever been at, because he's been at Athletic. Who else has he been at, actually? Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think.
Napoli, Marseille.
Lazio.
Yeah.
Lazio.
Marseille, yeah. Was he at Napoli?
Either Lazio or Napoli.
It was
Lazio.
Lazio.
What's a Lazio?
Yeah,
I didn't think he'd go to a fascist club like that, but yeah, there we go.
And the States, didn't he do something in the States recently?
I think he had a holiday.
I remember he was in Mexico. He was in Chile.
Sorry.
Yeah, he was in Chile.
Yeah.
And he started off in Argentina, of course.
Yeah.
And Italy. He's been around a lot.
Yeah.
That's
he's hoard himself around everywhere. And fair play to him. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
And I think just briefly, Joe, and I will shut up now, but I do think that probably does tell you what elite chairman think, that he probably can't make that leap step, because he's been in management, as Abdel said, he's been around for 20 years, Abdel.
Over that. The problem with Bielsa and big clubs is his attitude. He wants complete autonomy. Okay, so he goes in, he wants things done his way. He fights with the owners, he fights with the people, and then he leaves a couple of months later because things are not going the way he exactly wants them to go. Yeah. And if a club does not respect him that way, he just can't deal with it. So he resigns automatically and just leaves. So that's
like a good guy, Mourinho.
Yeah, that's his story with the big clubs. He resigns and leaves because things are not going exactly how he wants them to.
That's why I'm like an all for United. Like I have them on walking on eggshells the whole time. If I don't get a raise in pay from 0 to just over 0, I lose it and I'm out of here. Out of here, man. Are any of you guys going to the protest? Keep an eye on the Twitter for that. Make sure to follow at Off United to keep up to date with everything that's going on there. James, coming to you. How impressed have you been with Leeds this season?
I've been surprised. That's for certain. I've been pleasantly surprised. It's been, especially the first half of the season, it was a breath of fresh air. It was also nice from a United point of view because they were never in real threat of challenging the top 4 as such or anything like that. They were always just a nice side to watch from a distance, which I enjoyed. But yeah, like they've been saying, I think a bit of investment in this squad, and we could be looking at the next sort of Wolves over the last few years. So, it's obvious Bielsa knows what he wants and how he wants to play, and he will have. I'm fairly sure he'll have a short list of players that will help him achieve that. It's just, Leeds are they're a pretty rich club again, aren't they? They've got the financial backing after they went down to League One, so it's not like they're going to say no to anyone he wants. But yeah, just I think like it's been said before, the Leeds as a club worship him, don't they? He saved them as a club, so it's exactly what he wants. And for that reason, I don't see why they wouldn't back him. So yeah, a couple more years, they could be challenging for Europe. I won't be surprised, to be fair.
Yeah, but Wolves have a bit of a head start by having, the top agent in the world, giving them every young Portuguese player, which sort of helps. And Bielsa's history of falling out with everyone ever probably has closed that door a little bit for them. But I imagine he can get them to a good stage and then have a good manager come in and take them over and then, get them up to the next level. Don't particularly want to see that. Brother-in-law is a Leeds fan. Big Leeds fan, and his first child is going to be born. We were chatting about this before the game. First child is going to be born probably this weekend, my first niece or nephew, and all my family are all United. He's hugely Leeds, so what I'm going to pitch to him is that game will decide who the child supports. If Leeds win, I lose the niece or nephew. United win, we gain another follower. If it's a draw, we'll let the poor child choose for himself or herself. But it will be United because I can imagine it being less miserable, future. And we have to look out for the kids. But Andrew, coming to you, what are your thoughts on? Well, they seem to be like they are a goal-scoring team. Who is Leeds' biggest threat for us? Do you believe?
I say it could be a couple of players of the Leeds. Calvin Phillips in the midfield. He's done well this season, and he's also established himself in the England squad as well. You got to look at Patrick Bamford as well. He's also shone as well. I mean, as for many years they thought would Bamford ever make it in the Premier League, but Bielsa has got the best out of him when others haven't. And I mean, in terms of Bielsa, he's one of the most widely respected coaches in the game. I mean, to say he's credited as the early adopter of like the high pressing, the heavy use of video analysis. I mean, in terms of Bielsa himself, he's enigmatic. He demands everything to be perfect and very detailed orientated. So, and which is probably why he's been had his successes. But he's very demanding of his players. I mean, some of the clubs he's been at, like Lazio, he resigned after 2 days because the board wouldn't give him the players he wanted. So, and just before the Premier League season started, he signed his contract with them 1 day before. So, it's because he wants the team to compete at the best level. And from what I'm reading, former players have described Bielsa as being coached by him is like being in the army. So, but he seems to bring out the best in the players, and he doesn't necessarily go for the star names. He wants to develop the players. So, it'll be an interesting game on Sunday, and what new tricks he can put on us.
It's like being in the army, bit better pay, but still, I think I'd rather put up, being in the lead training camp. Oh, James can't deal with that. Sorry, he's a big army supporter, and I just badmouthed him, so he's gone. He's gone forever. Jeff, for you, where do you? I don't know how intimately you know Leeds, but where do you think we could possibly break them down? Where can our strengths hit their weaknesses? Is it the counter attack as it was before, or are we looking? They could be a low block, as people were saying.
They might be a low block this time around. Though in the past few games, when they do counter, I think it's like everyone's involved, like from the fullback to the forward. So if ever there's going to be a quick counter attack, Stuart Dallas will be a big part of it. He's been good form the past few games. So, but then again, we have Aaron to deal with him. It's just that if they do that, our midfield will be in for a long day, especially if we go with McFred. Then again, on their end, there's not going to be much threat aside from Dallas and Bamford. Well, Calvin Phillips has been good this season. I'm not sure about his creativity when he does go to the low block. So we have to break down that press. So I'm looking at maybe Pogba staying in the starting 11, just because we have to have that creativity more up front. But I hope he partners up with Fred or McTominay, because Rashi's got a good rest, so time to get him warmed up again. So.
Yeah, perfect. Welcome back, James. Thanks for ruining my Brady Bunch thing I'd going there. Abdel, to see us out on this particular round of questioning, if you had a choice and given them 5 years to create a team, would you prefer Bielsa or would you prefer Oli as our manager?
Ooh. That's a very tough question. I mean, if you have to forget that Oli is Oli and who he is, and just rate them on managerial experience, you would have to go Bielsa, because I know people don't rate Bielsa that's just because of the list of trophies and all that stuff. But the guy is very influential in football development from the 90s into the noughties and now. So he knows the game very well, and the pressing and the counter pressing and the high intensity football, it all came through him. Like he was a teacher for Guardiola, he was a teacher for Pochettino, and when Pochettino moved from Espanyol to here, and the high pressing game started becoming a thing in the Premier League, it was all stemming from that guy, from Bielsa. It was all his principles and what he put down off of also Cruyffian principles and all that stuff. So he's not a small time manager. He is someone who knows his football very well. So based on that, just purely managerial and what they've done in football, I would go with Bielsa, that's for sure.
Wow. Wow. Who thought Abdel was Ollie out? I can't believe this. Maybe Abdel did deserve his booze when he got in.
Nah. I've always said I'm neither this or that. I am.
Well, you just put your flag to the post there. I asked you a simple question: who would you prefer? And you went, "Fuck Ollie." You told him. I said, "I hope he." I said, "You're ashamed the protesters didn't kill him this morning, and they should bring Bielsa in on a throne and anoint him the king of Manchester."
I was spreading the rumors today in the morning about him saying Joel loves the club. So
oh my god. Okay, well, we are going to touch on that in a minute, but I love that Ollie out mentality. Of thinking Ollie, who's like the biggest point, like the biggest thing people know about him is that he's a brilliant people person. And you think a big angry crowd coming up attacking it, and he just goes, well, Joel Glazer loves Manchester, and they all kind of went, oh, okay, good, we'll leave now. That has calmed us down. Telling us the person that we love more, we want to kill more than anyone is a nice guy. Oh, thanks, Ollie. Absolute idiots.
I'll give Abdel his credit then. If he could have said, if I could have a mixture of Bielsa and Ollie, that would be Abdel's perfect, almost his perfect. And I
Their love child.
Actually, yeah, Stewart got it there. Yeah, because
I prefer my version of it where he was Ollie out and we were attacking him. But okay.
Ollie definitely has one over him in terms of man management. Yeah.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Good saving, Stu. You can tell you're a dad. How about this? You're both wrong.
I'll mute.
Yeah. But we'll go around, guys. What sort of game are we going to see Sunday? Final score, and first goal score. We'll go to you first, Hama.
I think, obviously, like we've been talking about, it's not going to be some big open game, but I think it's going to be a game where both sides are trying to get a result in their favor. So, I think it's going to be a decent game because as much as people are saying, they've been locking back on defense and things like that, they still have their tendencies of what they like to do and the way they like to play. And I don't think as much as they might want to be defensive, they stick to what they like to do. So I think it's actually going to be a decent game. I'll give us a 2-1 win. And you said first goal scorer?
Yeah. But you can pick the fourth goal scorer if you want as well. I don't mind.
All right. Well, listen, there's only to be smart. I'm gonna go with Paul as the first goal scorer.
Good shout. Shoot actually makes a great point. So this is the first time in a while without a midweek game for us, which is huge. Jesus Christ, we might actually be fresh for a change. Yes, we might. I know Mark isn't here, but he's watching in spirit. But we might actually start quick off the mark. Yes. Whoa, maybe. Woo! I'm a ghost now. Stu for yourself, and Lee, you can. I realize now who you are, and you're not one of us. Boo, Lee. Boo. Everyone get Lee. You have my permission to bully Lee. Get him. Boo. No, save your boos for Abdul. Actually, no. We have only one booing per session, and Abdul won it today. Stu, what sort of game are you expecting? Goals, first goal scorer and final score.
Yeah, I'll stick with what I said before. I think it's going to be tight. So I do expect Leeds to, press us hard in the first 20-25 because everybody does, and we tend to. Sorry, Mark, we tend to be slow at the blocks. It's like we're almost stuck in a block of ice for the first 20 minutes until it melts. But once we do get going and we do kick into gear, we should get over the line. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. My first goal scorer. Do you know what? I'm going to go with Hammer. I think Pogba might pop up for the first goal scorer. But yeah, 2-1 because they've got a decent keeper. This young French keeper Melier, he's decent. Llorente is quite strong at the back, isn't he? Yeah. And they're pretty good in the air. And that prolific Dallas, who popped up twice against City, you've got to watch him as well. So,
Lee, are you? Sorry, Stu, are you sure you're not a Leeds fan? Like you're kind of using very complimentary words, like that's Stuart Dallas, and like I think you had top class in there somewhere. I'm just like, are you sure, Lee?
I don't use top class or world class. You know that.
Yeah.
I always think that as a football fan, and most I've said this before, Manchester United fans are exceptionally well educated in football, and most of us are purists, just love the game. And I think there are other sides you can appreciate. Yeah. Just appreciate.
Yeah.
And we all fucking detest Leeds with a passion for what they represent as a club. But on the eye, as a football purist, you got to give credit where credit's due. So
no credit where it's due. Only when it suits us.
I'll tell you, Neil Burton's going to get in the comments in a minute.
Yeah, he's very soon.
He's going to rip me a new one, Neil Burton is.
His anti-Leeds sense is tingling, and he's going to be on in a minute going, fuck you. In fairness, Lee, you're being sounded. I know you're saying Leeds are a different team for our first meeting of the season. Defensively, we are a lot better. Fair enough. You did just say you concede 2 goals. Yeah. He did say, okay, you're conceding 2 goals. So you must be that much. I suppose that is 4 goals better defensively than you were before. Yeah. And as other Stuart, I won't hear a bad word against Stuart Dallas. Fair enough. I wonder why. I wonder why he's the one you're protecting. Yeah, I wonder why. Cool. Abdel, coming to you now, my man. How are we going to play? Final result and first goal score.
I think it's gonna be also a close game, but I would go for 2-0. And I think we gotta watch out, like Stuart was saying, like gotta watch out for Dallas. I'd also add Harrison to it, and Patrick Bamford haven't been scoring for a while, but the last 2 games I think he got a goal or 2 or something like that. So he started firing recently. So apart from these 2, Rafinha is out. So apart from these, 3, we shouldn't worry too much attacking wise. They become good defensively because they started pushing their fullbacks less forward. So they have much more numbers at the back than they usually had before. But yeah, I would go with us 2-0. First goal scorer, I would say Bruno. Penalty, just to piss people off.
Just to piss people off. And also, guys, we have 2 Leeds fans, Freddie and Lee. Thanks for joining us. Absolutely. We'll take the views and subscribe as well, I guess. And they're, having a chat there saying they're beating us. Get in the chat. Come on. Tell them they're wrong. Stuart, I'm looking at you. Jacob as well. Thank you very much. And get in there and tell them that they're wrong and we're going to win. Who else is there that's the usual? Ugly Bear. Fred, come on. You're letting us down. Tell them they're wrong and tell them how we're going to beat them, and get saucy with it. Thank you very much. And Garrett, you tell them too, but tell them why Leeds are crap too. Andrew, for yourself, how are we going to win? Who, first goal scorer and final result?
Yeah, like Stu said, I think Leeds will press us back into our own half, but the key will be the counter attack, and I think the key player on the break will be Marcus Rashford. And say his recent goals against Granada and Brighton shows he's got the quality going forward, and against the Leeds side that's likely to leave space in behind, Rashford could thrive on that, and pace will be the key ingredient. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Dan James start the game like he did in the reverse fixture. So, and with him and Rashford trying to get behind the Leeds back line as well. So I'm going to go 2-1 and Rashford to score the first goal.
Perfect. And Stu, you're not Other Stewart. Other Stewart is in the group now. You're Stewart. Other Stewart is the Leeds fan. And he perked up straight away. Jeff, coming to you now. Final result. How are we going to play? And first goal score.
I'll go with the first goal scorer first. Maybe Cavani for me, just because they're going to be uptight. I mean, they're going to press, but then they'll be that back line will just stay put. So we need that. We need that running striker around. But for the final score, I'm going 3-1 with them scoring first as usual from a corner, most likely. And then we'll get Cavani, Greenwood, and maybe Pogba as a consolation goal. So yeah, that's from me.
That's good. That's good. And the banter is starting to get a bit better. Oh, you got double take there. Where is this? There's a banter. Oh, yeah. Ugly Bear. This is quality. This is what I want to see. Okay. Leeds will lose because they're Leeds. Lol. Exactly. Get in on them. Okay. Where is it? And we have the wonderful Hannah as well, in the chat too, to Lee and to Freddie. The views and I was going to say take that positive Leeds stuff to a Leeds channel, but hey, there's a reason you're here. There we go. Sorry, I wrecked that up. But that's good banter, Hammer. That's what we want to see. Okay, so get on them, lads. Come on, don't give them a second. And Jeff, that Old Trafford model is incredible. That's a nice compliment as well. Very nice. Anyone think McTominay will score again? Absolutely. Absolutely. He loves scoring against Leeds. No, don't shake that head of yours. But James, see us out with the same question I asked everyone.
I'm quietly confident. There's a lot of talk about Leeds' defence being new and improved, but they're conceding a lot of chances still. Like, you look at the highlights of the Liverpool game, they could have scored a lot more than one. Obviously, City, I don't know how they beat City. I think City had close to 30 shots, didn't they, and still couldn't score. So I think we've got clinical enough strikers to convert some of these chances that we will probably create for ourselves. So I'll go with a 3-1. I'll go with Greenwood to score first. He's on a bit of form. If not, Harry Maguire. I always go Harry Maguire. So one of those two.
Slabhead. And before we actually hit the road tonight, we do have to touch on the scenes that happen at the training ground, which are not. Who is rubbing themselves? Am I the only one that's? Oh, Jeff, it's you, Jeff. You anyone else here? That... Yeah, Jeff was touching himself. Jeff, bad Jeff. That's bad, Jeff. Yeah, keep your hands where we can see them. Okay, we don't want this. It might be after 9 o'clock, but still, all right. There's a bit of respect to be had. Anyway, we'll go around. Obviously, the scenes happened this morning where seemingly exactly, Jacob. Thank you for fuck's sake, Jeff. Yeah, exactly. Keep them up. Keep them up. Keep your hands where we can see them. Praise to God for forgiveness. All right. Being better than Beyonce. See, that's what I'm talking about. Lee's on your side, Abdul. Boo. I loved all your talk about Ollie being better than Bielsa. You boys were great jokers. Ha ha ha. Oh wait, that's the other way around. Yeah, he is better. Sorry, I thought he was saying the opposite way. But obviously, there was the attack on the training ground, which was resolved without any violence. And apparently, from what I'm hearing, it was basically a chat. But I'm getting a bit annoyed by it because I was watching on TalkSport, and they went through it and they said it was awful, and then people reacted to that on Twitter saying that TalkSport are talking shit. They have to understand that our fans are upset and blah 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 blah. It's like, no, we don't, just because we buy tickets to see them live. We don't buy tickets to the training ground. We're not invited to the training ground. You can't go there and do this. You can't threaten. No matter what, it is a threat to attack them like that. So I don't personally think it's on. I don't think anyone should be lambasted. I'm surprised there was no arrests. I think they just wanted to keep it calm and keep it fine and just let them go and not have any more bad blood this week. But I was very surprised. But Hama, come to you first. What are your thoughts on the incident? And please, guys, get your thoughts in the comments. Share this video, like the video, give us the love, please.
Yeah, man. I think there's a big difference between protesting and doing that, right? That's taking it to a different level. Believe me, I understand the anger and how pissed off everybody is, and I agree with everybody who wants the Glazers to sell the club. But that, at the end of the day, is, I don't know, I'm assuming breaking and entering is a term over there, or whatever term you guys have, right?
And so, even if it isn't, we kind of get it because breaking and entering.
Yes, yeah.
It's not a completely different language.
I know, but that that's the point. Like, there's a different level between protesting, right? Y'all could have went and been like what I'm assuming is going to happen tomorrow, right? And just been outside of the training ground and been loud as shit to the point where they had to come and say something, do something, talk to you. But breaking into the ground is taking it to a different level, right? I know arena and training ground is different, and it was a small arena, but I worked in an arena when I was in college, and the end of the day, right, there's like a few rules that people kind of have to enforce, right? And it's more about respect, right? Like, you're not going to go to somebody's house and disrespect it. So don't show up at somebody's place, whether it's an arena, whether it's training center, and disrespect it, especially if you're the fans of that club.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Gonna keep going now. Go to you now, Stu. Obviously, is this something you've ever seen before? Did anything ever happen like this in Manchester history, Man United history? I don't remember hearing anything like this, a fan protest, but I can't even think about this across the board in football. So, do you know anything about this across the board, first of all, and then what are your thoughts on it?
I've not seen or heard anything personally in the past about anything of this nature. Look, tensions have been really high for the past couple of days, since Sunday, obviously. And it's very, very strange because football fans have come together in disgust of what these clubs attempted to do. And it was really ripping the fabric out of football. And we love football for a reason, because it makes you feel emotional. It gives you a kind of a roller coaster of emotions, from elation to despair. Everybody has a right to protest. So I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't. I am going to say that we should protest, but you have to protest in the right way, guys. If you're listening, you're watching, you shouldn't have done that today. You could have stood outside peacefully and made your points. But you can't just, as Hammer says, you can't just stroll up, knock the door down, and expect no repercussions. I think you're right, Joe. I think the police elected, or probably Manchester United probably said to the police, look, we've dealt with it, let it go. But it can't happen. So what I'm hoping Saturday is that the protest will be peaceful and that people make their points, but do it quietly. No violence.
Yeah.
Don't cross the line. Because our club, our fans are brilliant. Let's not tarnish the fans' reputation. Okay? Like the club directors and owners have tarnished the club's reputation. We know that we've got a long, long way back now to have any kind of trust in football. And so let's not make it worse. Let's be calm. So I can't make it Saturday, and I wish I could. But my lad's got a match, and I never miss my son play. So I can't make it Saturday, but I'll be there in spirit with you guys. But I would implore any one of you who is watching tonight to go, but just be peaceful, because that's what we need right now. We need common sense and peace. But I agree with the right to protest.
Fucking Shumat Nagandi here.
Sorry.
And also, Stu, if you just like give your young lad a swift kick in the knee, he might be out for the weekend, and you can go down. Just make it look like an accident.
Yeah, no, yeah. Do you know I've never missed a game. He's been playing since he was 8. I've never missed a game. So
what age is he now?
He's 20. Plays for Newport
fair play.
Town. So
Wow.
I've done a bit of coaching for him. That's why he's miles better than me, obviously.
Is Newport, is that in Wales?
No, it's in Shropshire.
Shropshire.
Newport's in Shropshire, yeah. So.
Yeah. That's cool. Fair play to him. What position is he?
He's a left-sided forward. So I actually scored a bit of a worldie of a volley a couple of weeks ago. Well, when did we start playing? 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So he scored a bit of a worldie of a volley. So.
Nice one. I was going to say we could.
Moments.
Yeah, absolutely. We could have used them, but actually, I think Rashford has that position kind of sewn up.
Yeah, I think Rashford might be slightly better.
Yeah, but look, he has his injury problems, and like we do need someone there. So I'll have a word. I'll eat your watching. Do it for us.
Phone me.
Yeah, don't entirely agree. It made headlines, which I guess was the point. Glad it was peaceful and hopefully didn't interfere with training. I get where you're going from, Stuart, but it still shouldn't.
Can I just say really quick
on
what he said there? It did make headlines, but it made headlines in kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? Like it wasn't a pure headline, right? It was the headline. Okay, we got the message, but then it was also, oh look, they broke into the grounds, right? It wasn't just what we need, the message that we needed.
Yeah, I completely agree. Abdul, coming to you now. What are your thoughts on what happened this morning?
I think I can echo what Stuart said, because I agree that we should protest, and this is a perfect time because they do feel vulnerable at the moment, the Glazers, and especially with Edward resigning as well. But at the end of the day, I think the problem that the fans and with their anger and frustration, what happens is the anger and frustration doesn't go towards the Glazers directly. The anger and frustration start harming the team and the manager. So when what they did, I get what they're trying to do. I get the message that they're trying to convey, but you're disrupting a manager from his work. You're disrupting the players from training. You're disrupting from just the regular workers at the club to do their work. If they stood out of Old Trafford in I don't know, in front of the Trinity statue or in front of some a visible place, and they protested, that would have been fine. They would have been seen, and it would have caught a headline, But breaking into the training complex just to make your point, I don't think that's the right way. And being a fan, not from Manchester, not from England, I've always heard that the United fans, the Manchester-born and raised fans, they're very classy. They take care of their own and they respect their own, and they show them the love and the respect. So these players, no matter, even if they are from different nationalities and countries, they're your players. They're the players that represent your badge and your club that you love. So put them in your consideration when you try to do something like that. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you completely. Andrew, for yourself?
So there's a very fine line, and I think maybe the mark was just overstepped today. I mean, those protests inside Carrington, they can affect the players. I mean, we have to remember the European Super League was just frosted on those players and the managers on Sunday, and literally they had no idea what was going on. I mean, we still got to finish the season. We've still got to secure top 4 and hopefully go on to win the Europa League. Yes, fans' voices need to be heard, and so we can make a change, but we have to do it in the right way. If we look at the results of like Liverpool and Chelsea, they've been distracted by it because they drew their games. So we just can't have protests where it affects the players. They've got to give, like I say, I hope they're not affected by it, and we do give a good performance on Sunday, but I'm just worried it might just have done that. So we just want, like Stu said, a peaceful protest on Saturday where it all goes smoothly and we can make our voices heard.
Absolutely. Oh, Stuart actually made a good point. First of all, he misspelled would because he said wouldn't. Have partaken in it myself, just to be clear. And probably the same lads who went to Woodward's house. Personally, I don't believe that happened. I think that was all just creative media making. But maybe it was. Maybe. And protesting the Glazers is fine, but it's pointless unless someone actually finds a buyer with 6 billion to throw away. I get what you're saying. 4 billion 4 billion. That's it. We can get that amongst us. But 4 billion, yeah, absolutely. But also
4 billion is much easier to collect than 6.
I bet yeah.
I mean, a huge difference. Yeah.
that will only take 8,000 lifetimes to raise that money rather than 20. But yeah, no, and also just don't buy merchandise. That's the main thing. Fine, if you want to be at the games, buy a season ticket. Don't buy anything at the ground. Don't buy a new jersey. All that sort of stuff. Don't buy anything from a club shop. That's where it'll hurt them.
I think the whole point, Joe, just
covered.
The problem with what happened is, I think Stuart or Hamad said it before, it took an entirely different route. The whole thing, it became about Ollie and what he said and what he didn't say. And then people who want Ollie to stay are defending Ollie, and people who don't want Ollie to be here are attacking Ollie. They all forget the Glazers. It's become all about Ollie now, And it's like,
every time. And it was those bastards that said, "Oh, Joe Glazer loves the club." It's just like, just anything they can to get on him. It just pissed me off. But Jeff, coming to you, I hear you were one of them.
with the shirt, eh?
Yeah.
But anyway, protesting's fine. I mean, the Saturday thing is coming up. Then again, the players and the manager doesn't deserve this disruption or anything like that. Just the same way as they don't deserve the repercussions of the owners joining this Super League. Whether it's a point deduction or a disqualification from the tournament. They were as blindsided.
I want to know, first of all, Jeff. I want to know what you mean by that. Are you saying that the Super League isn't a legitimate league?
Not for me.
Okay, that was supposed to be an intense joke, but thanks for taking it seriously. Keep those hands up, Jeff. Okay, keep it clean, all right.
But yeah, I mean, the players and the manager don't deserve any kind of disruption or repercussion from the fallout of what happened during the past few days. So yeah, protesting's fine, but the fact that they said we decide when you play, I think that's the statement that got too far for me. The conspiracy theorist in me might say that it's another inside job so that it will turn into Oli in and Oli out again. So we wouldn't be surprised if that was the thing really. So I hope the Saturday one is more productive. It's not as stupid as what happened earlier today. So yeah, I hope we get to Joel's mind and say, this isn't worth it. So.
Absolutely. Anyone else noticed that Jeff just said there's a conspiracy theorist in him? I was wondering why he was in such a good mood. James, see us out. What are your thoughts on what is happening today? What happened today?
Yeah, I'll just echo everyone else's thoughts. I think it was a wrong idea, right execution, rather than the other way around, because it is going to be seen by the Glazers, and it will have some sort of effect. It got a lot of media coverage, which is what they wanted, but I don't think it's the right way to go about it. Like the others were saying, the players and the staff and everything. I imagine it was quite intimidating as well to them to come into training and see that. Obviously, breaking and entering, like you said, you got to protest legally. Otherwise, it's not really. I don't personally see the point if not. So, yeah, just obviously hopefully the one on Saturday is a lot more sort of calm and a lot more successful as well. But yeah, I'm glad that they didn't get violent, and I bet there's a few United fans that are glad that a certain quote came out about Ollie as well. So, it's probably worked for everyone in some sense. But yeah, I don't agree with it, and I'm hoping that Saturdays is a lot more effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, that's been our show. We'll be back Sunday with so much to talk about. Obviously, the post for the Leeds game and with everything. Because I know, Jeff, I know you asked a really good question. This isn't a question, but it's due to the top six. Should they be getting in trouble? Unfortunately, we don't have time to talk about it tonight. I think that's a good debate that we can have on Sunday, because we can be open-minded and be realistic. What do we think is the real thing? It gives us all top six should be punished. We'll make the show about that on Sunday. Hopefully, after we absolutely hammer Leeds again for the second time this season, we can have get that out of the way in 5 minutes. Lee, you can come around and have a laugh with that about it, and then we can discuss the actual punishment that should be handed out if we have more information by then. But please join us Sunday evening, I guess 9 o'clock for that. Until then, thanks so much to the guys for joining me tonight. Thanks so much for everyone who's been watching the video. Absolute pleasure as always. And next time I see you, we'll have 3 points in the bag again. All the best. See you. And Stu, hopefully your young lad scores another worldly and 3 points for his team as well.